Hey, what's up everybody? Snowy back with another video, and today we're going to be making another tier list for Rainbow Six Extraction and going over the best operators to use if you're playing solo. Before we hop into it, I just want to say thank you for all of the support lately. The channel growth has been absolutely insane. You guys have dropped so many nice and motivating comments as well, and it truly makes my day. I know it may not be much, but to say thank you, I'm going to be running a giveaway for the $50 React Tech Credits Pack. This will allow you to buy some awesome customization for your operators. I'm going to be doing this giveaway when we reach 500 subs on the channel. All you have to do to enter is drop a like on the video, subscribe, and leave a comment down below saying who your favorite operator is and why. When we reach 500 subs, I'll come back to this video and enter everybody who did the steps above I just mentioned into a random comment picking generator. Once again, thank you so much, but let's go ahead and hop right into the tier list. So first up on this list, we have Alibi. Her gadget allows you to place decoys of herself, basically holograms, and this is going to cause the aliens to run at them instead of you, making it overall a great utility gadget for solo play. She also has a fantastic LMG that's super strong, and overall I think she is an A tier operator for solo play in this game. Next up we have Capitao. I still think he's one of the weaker operators in the game. His gadget just is not strong at all. He has a decent LMG that you can play with, but I just think Capitao is not good for solo play or group play, so for this list, I'm throwing him into D tier. Next up, we have Doc. Doc is definitely not one of the best operators in the game. I think he's overshadowed heavily by Finka, and overall, whenever you're playing with the team, you're going to want to be using Rook over Doc. However, I do think Doc is a viable choice, or at least semi-viable for solo play, and you're definitely going to want to pick him over Rook. However, I do still think he's just B tier. Next up, we have Ella. Ella's super strong. I've came to appreciate her gadget very much as it stuns for 10 seconds, leaving the enemies vulnerable to multiple assassinations. This can be great for solo play when you don't have teammates to help you get back-to-back assassinations, or at least coordinated play. She also has an amazing weapon. Her LMG is absolutely fantastic, and you're going to want to be running her a lot when playing by yourself, so Ella is our first S tier operator for this list. Next up we have Finka. Finka is fantastic for team play as she gives everybody a 15 health boost. However, when you're playing solo, you only give yourself a 15 health boost. The other part of her gadget is that when she's downed, she can shoot an enemy and pick herself right back up if you manage to kill something. This is really nice for solo play, and overall I think it landed her a spot in the lower side of A tier. Next up we have Fuze. Some of you have enlightened me about how good Fuze can be if played properly, and he's absolutely amazing for the hostage rescue. However, I don't think he has amazing guns, and his gadget is pretty niche and loud, and when playing solo, you're going to want to be as stealthy as humanly possible. So I do think this lands Fuze a spot in C tier for this list. Next up, we have Gridlock. Gridlock has some really good guns. Her LMG is super powerful, and that's definitely what you're going to want to be running. Her gadget will help you defend, especially in solo. You'll be able to set up the traps and pretty much be covered from every angle. This is going to slow down the enemies when they're running at you, so in case you forget to check your back, you'll be covered by her traps. So I think Gridlock is exceptional for solo play, and it placed her in high A tier. So next up we have Hibana. Hibana's gadget is pretty loud, and I just don't think it does too many amazing things in this game, quite frankly. There's really nothing you're going to be using her for. It can stun smashers a little bit if you shoot them, and it's also good for aberrant nests, but if you're playing solo, you're only going to have to kill 5 aberrant nests anyways, So overall, I just don't think Hibana brings that much to the table, and her guns are also awful. So I put her in the lower side of B tier. Next up, we have IQ. IQ is pretty fantastic for just getting a whole read of the map, getting all the intel you need, also knowing where all the health and ammo packs are. She's not crazy good because you can find those things on your own if you take the time, but it just makes speed running easier and also lets you know where the spores are, which is super nice because when you're playing solo, you have to use a grenade to get the spores off yourself. You're not going to have a teammate to whack you. So I do think this places IQ with a strong spot in A tier overall. Um, Next up, we have Jager. He is not one of the best operators in the game, I think. He has a fantastic weapon selection. However, his gadgets are kind of weakish, and they're just going to help you defend points. So if you are playing by yourself, you can set these up on a defensive objective, and it is going to help quite a bit. I just don't think he's better than Gridlock. So I did go ahead and place him in A tier. However, he is lower than Gridlock in my opinion. Next up, we have Lion. Lion has a super strong gun, the HK, and that's what you're going to want to be using on him. His gadget also recharges on its own and lets you see enemies through walls. It's basically wall hacks. So I think Lion is absolutely fantastic for solo play, and it's going to give you a read on where all the enemies are, and you're going to be able to take them out strategically. So I place Lion in S tier for this list. Next up, we have Nomad. I think a lot of people have actually been sleeping on her. Uh, I've been using her lately, and her gadget is absolutely fantastic. It's just more free stuns, but it also kills lower tier ads. So let's say there's a elite enemy and there's 3 grunts around him. If you shoot it at the floor, you're going to be able to kill all of the grunts and still assassinate the elite enemy. So she's terrific, and I definitely recommend you guys try her out, upgrade her, and I actually threw her in S tier for this list. So before you guys judge me, please try her out. I promise you'll like her. Absolutely fantastic. Next up, we have Pulse. Pulse is pretty good for intel, and it is crucial to know where the nests are, especially in solo play. I don't think he has the best weapons. His 5.56 is pretty good. Um, Overall, he's never a bad choice, so I did end up throwing him into A for this list, as I don't think he's anywhere close to as bad as, for instance, Hibana. Next up, we have Rook. Rook is S tier for team play, absolutely. But I think overall, for solo, you're better just running a revive kit and using one of these other fantastic gadgets from another operator. So I think Rook is C tier for solo play personally. He doesn't bring much to the table, and the utility everybody else brings, coupled with a revive kit, is going to be way better for you. So next up, we have Sledge. I think Sledge is basically just a better version of Hibana, but I still don't think he's terrific for team or solo play. Sorry, and I think overall the utility once again that I mentioned is just better than having a hammer. So I think this places him in B tier above Hibana. Next up, we have Smoke. Smoke is really strong when you max him out. He's 4 speed and 4 armor. Pretty good weapons, and his smoke canisters actually do really good damage. So I recommend you guys definitely give him a try, and I think he's an A tier operator for solo. You can place his traps and defensive choke points, and when the aliens run through, they're just going to take extra damage or flat out die, and that's going to be awesome for you. So next up, we have Tachanka. Tachanka is really good for team play. I actually think A or S tier, especially in Maelstrom. His damage output is insane, and his passive bonuses are crazy. But I do think for solo play, you're not going to want to be locking yourself down too much. The strafing is pretty crucial. And I did end up placing Tachanka in B tier for this list. And last but certainly not least, the craziest operator of them all for solo play, I think. Vigil is basically free assassinations, and if you use his MK14 EBR, it's a fantastic gun. And Vigil is never going to be a wrong option for solo play, in my opinion. So this placed him as the first in S tier. So overall, this is the list. Once again, Please look into the giveaway, and I'll be picking a winner soon. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please feel free to leave comments down below on your opinions on these operator placements. Let me know if you agree, disagree, or would switch anybody around. But hope you're all having a fantastic day, and Snowy out.